Hi guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be doing my AFL fantasy review of the Western Bulldogs vs St Kilda game that happened in one of the two late games on Saturday night. So before we get into it, remember to like and subscribe as this channel grows. Remember to tick the notification bell, and yeah, let's get into the video. So as you can see here, English did really well as Rowan Marshall. Them going 1 point apart basically did nothing to me. It helped mean that Marshall wasn't going to drop in value, which was just a confidence booster that he's like back to his best, I guess, and we don't. And Ross Lane doesn't need Tom Campbell there. He can wait out on the key forwards coming back. So if we look at English, pretty consistent all round, but then a huge second quarter. I think I didn't really catch much of this game, but from what I was looking at, and we'll look at more with, we'll reflect back with Marshall's score, it looked like English got on top in the second quarter, and I think at one point he had about 65 fantasy points, and Marshall had only 40 or so. It was somewhere around that, and he was up by 25 points. So he looked really dominant, and that looks really good for anyone that owned him. Bazza Smith, he was on 95 or so, and then had a good little kick on at the end to get up to the 105. But he looked, from what I saw, he tracked pretty well. He was sort of giving a lot of, from what I can see here, it looks like he was just probably, it's probably better to look at the, probably better to bring up the AFL website. So we'll do that for some of these guys to look more in depth. Where is it? It's this game. Player stats. We look here and we see Bazza Smith, 5 clearances. Advanced stats, contested possessions, he 10 and 18, so more of outside ball it seems like for him. And then back to basics, just want to see the marks and to see if he was up there. No, he wasn't. 6 and 3, so good spread across those two. So yeah, he looked, from what I can see from not really watching the game 100%, he looked pretty good. Next up, Hayden Crozier, and he had a really good first and sort of carried on that form. If we look here, he had the 10 marks, which sort of propelled his score, it seems like. Was he playing in the back line? Crozier, yeah, he was playing on that back line, so he must have been the sort of distributor there. As if I go back here, we look down here and we see Dale. Where's Dale? Dale had a 62, yeah, so it seems like they favour Crozier more than Dale. And then Libber and Bont both had games that... Bontempelli is just annoying, because if you look here at Bontempelli, 13 point last quarter, he had 68 in 2 quarters effectively, and he looked so good in those 2 quarters. But it just like, he just doesn't come up to play when his team's like down and out. He sort of just subs himself out and doesn't play. So that's what sucks. And yeah, he had a free kick against. I thought he might be able to get on and get up to 100 points. And then he had a free kick against in like the last minute to bring his score down. So that sucks. Keith had a good game. Daniels didn't really have a good game. He's probably going to average 90 or so. Bruce had a really good game for what he's probably should be bringing, but I don't think he's going to be a guy that you can bring in, as I don't think he'll consistently score as what he scored in the first game. If we look here, in the first game he scored a 52, which is just not good enough. So who do they play next week? They play the Brisbane Lions. He'll struggle against Brisbane, I think. So if we go back here, Norton did what all he could do as a key forward and sort of almost brought them back into the game. He kicked, 1 goal here, 2 goals. He kicked 2 goals too in the end, it looks, so it's alright. And then McRae got a forward role and basically killed his game off, and he's going to tank in price. and it just doesn't look. I just don't get what Bevo's doing. All he has to do is have a midfield three of McRae, Bont, and Liberatore, have on the wing Bazza Smith, and even potentially like probably even you could almost do Bailey Dale on the wing. That's like what we're talking about, and then that would be a pretty good and English as the ruckman. That would be a pretty good midfield six. So I just don't get what Bevo's doing, putting McRae full forward. Like, it just doesn't work. Go back to what you were doing 2 years ago with McRae, Bont, and English there. Well, it was Martin, but the ruckman as well, and Liberatore. That was your midfield four. It isn't hard to see, but it's just killing McRae's fantasy game. Ed Richards looked really good in the last quarter, but just didn't do anything outside of that and barely got to his break even. Drea did nothing. Williams, nothing. Oscar Baker, nothing again. A lot of these midfielders just not mid-prices doing nothing. And then Bailey Dale, as we said, just couldn't get into the game, it doesn't look like. And yeah, he just didn't do much. Had one free kick against, and that was it really. So he didn't have any negative stats, so he just didn't get into the game. McLean had an alright game, but again he'll drop in value. Where did he start on ground? McLean was on the bench, so yeah, it just doesn't look like he can get those consistent scores that we need out of him. And then you got Liam Jones, did alright, but not anything special. Garcia, Scott, Ugo Hagen, and all these guys basically did nothing. Then you come over here, and Steele looked really, really good. The only problem with that is that he's got an injury, and it's an AC joint again. So if he is out injured, that's 8 to 10 weeks potentially. So, yep. Marshall, like we said here, if you look here, he actually gave away a free kick right at the end of the quarter here, because what I was talking about was around here. He didn't score for 16 minutes, and I reckon he was on the park. And then we go back to not Bazza Smith, English between. What did we say? Between Marshall between 10 and 26 minutes here. Between 10 and 26 minutes, he had 9, 20, 22, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 24 points in that time that Marshall didn't score. And that's where you got that big gap. And then he got the goal off a free kick to really end his quarter on a high. But then just looks like Marshall dominated the third quarter, whereas Tim English sort of just had an average quarter. And then they sort of both had 20-point last quarters, as it seems like there wasn't many ruck contests, as St Kilda decided to try and just kick it round a little bit. I'm just watching this group chat, and people, this must have been going on in the game, and people were not too happy about, I guess, McRae, and so Crouch looked really, really good, but can we get him at that price? Probably not. Sinclair, again, is going to go down in price again, but he saved it in the last quarter when they were just kicking it round the back. But I don't expect them to be able to kick out to 40-point leads consistently, and for him to be able to just kick it round the back. So that's why I just don't like his scoring output. And then you got Mason Woods, did really well again, just getting really good third quarter to carry him, and then a good first half in general. And then Bobby Hill looked alright. Nothing too special, but nothing outlandish, and he helped out in the fourth quarter with just kicking around the back. Stocker looks really good as well, so maybe if I want to actually look at this, Stocker. If we look here, Stocker, 463k. so maybe he can come in, but yeah, we'll see. I sort of need another defender, because Constable's probably going to go, and a forward because Bruin's going to go. So I'm just trying to look up options around that 500k range, because trying to get rid of Dacos. I'm trying to get in Dacos and someone else, basically, is the plan. So Stocker's sort of on the radar. Ross is going to tank in price, is he? Yeah, not really. He got 92 in the end. Hunter Clark got his good game there in 91. I just don't think he's consistent enough. Owies had an alright game, ended up with 90, so maybe he's an option. Is that his first game of the season? No, it's Owens. Sorry, I messed that up. Owens had a 77 and a 90. So maybe I could go for him. I need to look into it more, because obviously with that 90, he's going to have a good price rise of around 30 or 40k. So maybe he's that forward that I can bring in, as he doesn't look like he was actually helped too much off of the kickouts. The kicking around the back that they had. So I think he could be actually one that I bring in, and that'll help me get another forward, which should help me get, I'm guessing, Philippou off field, which will be good. We look here, and yeah, no one else did anything fantastic here, and you got Philippou's score of 42, and it just sucks because he kicked goals early on in in each of the first 3 quarters, and you just look at that, and he does nothing the whole game. So I reckon they need Ross Lyon probably needs to just get him into the midfield a couple of times, just to see if he can get him with the ball, or make him just try and get some more hit up leads to get some more marks and goals, because he just needs something, I guess, more, because it doesn't look like he's getting much of the ball, and I think that will be really good for him. But who knows? I guess Philippou did what he needed to do, I guess. That's what Ross Lyon's probably going to say. So he got his break even, so he'll go up another 10 or 20k, but he might actually be a guy that, if he performs and gets another 40, he might be a guy that I try and trade out, just because it looks like he's sort of playing a key position role at the moment. And then once his price, I guess, once those key position players start coming back in, then we can sort of trade for him back and get, I guess, another player in. So that's the review there and then of the Western Bulldogs versus St Kilda game. This will come out, I'm guessing, on Monday, as well as the other game, which was the Freo versus North Melbourne game. So yeah, I'll see you guys in another video soon. Thanks guys, goodbye.